God does not run this world by miracles. He runs the world by principles. Everything God does, he puts them in systems, and there are principles governing them. There's a how. Since the day God made the sun, he has not come back to come and rise the sun every morning. God does not need to get involved in the sun rising every morning and setting. Why? He's created a system called the solar system. He says as long as the earth remains, seed time, harvest, hot, cold, night and day. Those are systems and principles. Your body runs in systems. When you eat, you don't need to pray and fast to go to toilet. Why? There's a digestive system. When you breathe in oxygen, do you need God to come down and say, breathe out carbon dioxide? No. Why? There's a respiratory system. Systems run the earth. Miracles are needed when systems have broken down. When suddenly you are breathing in and you can't breathe out, it's a system failure. So what you need a miracle for is, God, restore the function of this system. But when the system is working, now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. When the systems are working well, it looks like you don't even need a miracle in this life. Yes. I said it, but I had to, I gave it so that you don't take it out of context. In context, when you understand how systems work, God has put principles for running things. People who understand the principles and don't know God are getting results. Those of us who know God but don't know principles, we are struggling. I've seen an error under the sun. Servants on horses, princes on foot. Because God has put systems. You are a child of God. But God has said, the way to multiply pawpaw is by planting the seed and to multiply. The system is in place. You say, no, I will get pawpaw by prayer and fasting. The guy who does not know God has done pawpaw plantation. You will work for him. You will finish from your fasting and go and find a job in that plantation. Yet, you know God. He does not. Principles, not miracles. That's how the world runs. So when I say there's a how for getting these things done, we need to understand what are the principles. Now I'm saying all this just first to challenge your mind, to let you understand that, look, there's work to be done. And this is not work that will happen in 2 days. I'm glad Pastor said you have a whole year. So my job these 2 days is just to show you the what, and then get you to start applying and implementing the things that need to be done. And the first battle we must win, the first place to start, we're trying to grow, exponential growth. The first place is here. It's in the mind. Please give me that slide. How do you know? Somebody said battle of the mind. Please give me that slide. And so just show that you are in the spirit. The battle begins in our mind. Because we are products of our thinking. And many of us, unfortunately, don't realize that our thinking has been colonized by circumstances. You see, we think that we think, but most times we're not thinking. We're simply responding to a pre-programmed algorithm in our brains. Our minds, to a large extent, most of our decisions are subconscious. Most of our decisions are subconscious. They are coming from a mental programming that we're not even aware of. I have done this example many times. And I ask people, how much is transport from Lagos to Abuja? And I get different answers. Some people tell me it's 35,000, it's 45,000. And you know why they are saying 35,000? Because when I say, how much is transport from Abuja to Lagos? In their brain, the way to go to Abuja is by bus. So without even thinking, they just tell me the price of bus. How many of you thought of bus price as I'm answering that question now? Because your mind is, when I say you are programmed, you think you are thinking, you're not thinking, you're just reacting to a programmed algorithm. Some of you were telling me flight price, right? Because that's your normal. How many of you were thinking of economy price? You thought of flight, but the price your brain told you is, it's like 120, 150. Your brain is economy because in your mind, The way to go to Abuja by flight is economy. Just trying to convince you that your brain is only reacting to what has been fed into it. And that's how we make decisions around our lives. You know, there is a conditioning we have received that even when God is trying to take you to another level, your brain is saying, stay here. This is where you should be. That is why the only person who could take Israel out of Egypt was a guy whose brain was not conditioned in slavery. Because those guys, the slavery was not physical, it was mental. Even when they were out, they were still thinking of cucumbers. The slavery is here. Pastor said something casually yesterday, very profound and deep. I wrote it down. The level Nigeria needs to get to may not be possible by somebody who experienced the colonial era. So maybe we're in our own 40 years or 66 years so far now of wilderness. Until people who saw slavery. You know, Pastor said it yesterday in passing. If you heard it, you heard it. For me, that was loud. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a resemblance here. This is looking like a replication. Our minds first has to be freed. We first need to take out. I told you earlier, my parents are missionaries. I didn't realize that the circumstances in which I grew up programmed me a particular way. It was not intentional, but that is just the way it works. My parents have never been on a salary. They were missionaries who live by faith. In fact, it is now for the first time that they have a predictable income because we have put them on payroll. My parents now earn a monthly salary, they have health insurance, everything they did not have when we were growing up, now they have everything. Because that is one of my callings in business. That constituency, I have a calling there. I'll tell you later, maybe if time permits. But you see that growing up, because you are not sure of when the next support will come, when money comes, your default is let's manage it. So when we as students say, Mommy, can we have this? What do we say? We can't afford it. And that we can't afford it kept on coming till it became a programmed algorithm. Even when I grew up and I have money in my pocket, something is telling me you can't afford it. Even when you want to buy something, how many of you have gone to a shop and you want to buy bulb and they say this one is 3.5, this one is 2.5, this one is 1.5. Which one do you buy? Why? The money is in your pocket. You have the money. But somehow, you've been programmed to go for the lowest. Now, these are simple expressions. But it's this same thing that affects the big decisions. Why is your business still small? When you wanted to rent office, you're looking for the cheapest office. That is in the corner of one corner. No address. The kind of clients you will meet there are the size of the building. Because somehow you did not believe that someone like you can own an office on the main way or in a high rise. Even when they tell you, okay, we are sending you on an official trip, book hotel, it's not your money. Oh. Your programming is looking for the cheapest hotel. You are not the one paying, company is paying for it. But somehow, I'm trying to show you why this freedom of growth, if you don't get that mind independence. Now, the assumption is the cross has done its work. You are saved. Now, your mind needs its own freedom and independence. Because without that, you will keep running around the same cycle. You will wonder, why am I not making progress? You are attracting things the size of what you are thinking. Even when they ask you to submit a proposal, you are afraid to call money. Because you feel you are not deserving of being paid that kind of money. No, it's not me. How can I? No, if I bring out my own. And so sometimes you submit a proposal and they're like, I'm telling you what has happened to me. Oh. Because the first freedom God had to give me was this freedom from that programming. Our first daughter was getting to 1 year. My wife bought a baby walker. I came back home and I saw a very fine baby walker at home. I said, babe, you bought walker? Yes. You know, that walker caused argument. You know the argument? It is too expensive. Is there no cheaper one in the shop? That we could buy it meant we could afford it. But somehow program is telling you, no, you can't afford this. Let's return it and change it. When she told me, say, no, you know this baby now, she has clothes, I need to wash clothes. Okay, let's buy a washing machine. We went there and looked for the cheapest washing machine, which was manual. And we bought manual washing machine. The plumber who came to install was saying, God, why you buy this machine? I said, because I want to reduce stress. Say, you never reduce any stress. This thing, you will still do stress. There's automatic there. So, God is trying to take me out of a level. I'm sabotaging myself. I'm saying myself, I need to stay here. Because a freedom has not come to the mind. And how does your mind get colonized? Two things. The things you see and the things you hear. You kept seeing lack. You kept seeing scarcity. Your brain colonized itself to scarcity. Or you kept hearing things like, we are not that rich. We can't afford it. It's too expensive. Now, it happened to us. That is bad enough. But you know my biggest concern? We are transferring to our children. Have you heard the saying when they say that a child who grows up around wealth naturally easily becomes wealthy? And the one that grew up in poverty, it's hard to escape poverty. Why do you think it is so? Because the mindset begins to affect even your decisions later in life. So there are things, so when we even say subdue the earth, go global, your brain is struggling to understand what global means. Because your brain said, me global. 2 years ago, one of my business coaches told me, David, just no agenda, buy tickets, travel out, just go to different countries, just walk on the street, and just go around and then come back. The quality of your ideas will change. I thought he was joking. There are places you go to, you come back, and you know what I'm talking about. You are doing real estate, and your biggest dream is to do a 4-story building. Then you go to South Korea, and then you see that there's nothing less than 30 floors. Ask yourself, do they have 2 heads here? Something has changed in your mind because of what you saw. It makes you come back and start asking, this same land that could do 8 flats can do 64 flats. I mean, suddenly you are thinking at a different scale. So one of the things we will have to do if we want to escape this level is learn how to capture God-sized ideas. God-sized ideas. How to think like God. When God says, this is what I want to do. When God talks, if not that he's God, we think he's a proud person. No? If not God that we think he's God. If a man talks like God, we say he's proud. But whose child are you? So who should you talk like? It starts from there. Because thoughts are the creative power of the universe. Even when you are speaking words, your thoughts are overshadowing your words. Because, we say words are the tools of creation. Where do words come from? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So sometimes, because of people around you, you are trying to talk big. But your mind, the thing you are saying is small in your mind. So you are saying, we're going to grow this year. We are hearing growth. We think you are talking of growth. We are talking 2 million. That's what you are calling growth. Because your mind, and nature responds. When God said, let there be trees, did he describe trees? How did trees take their shape? They follow the picture in God's mind. Because when God said, let there be trees, God had a mental image of trees. So trees follow the picture. So when you are speaking, nature is not just responding to what you are saying. God, expand me this year. Expansion for you is to go from 5 to 7. So God will give you, and you will have expanded. Give me that last slide. That's where I'm going to stop today. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you the domains and the proper how of exponential growth. But this is where I'm going to end today. You see this thing? If you're talking about growth, exponential growth for your business, the problem is not with your business. You see that guy in the middle? Everything you do stems from who you are. Everything you do operates at your level. If you are a 2-meter person, your ministry, your work, your business, your faith, marriage, everything will look like you. When you change, everything follows you. You've heard the law of the lead in leadership. Everything comes to the level of the leader. We've seen it in Nigeria. We were here as a nation. We brought a leader who was here. What did he do? He brought the country to his level. I didn't say anything. The first place to focus on is focus on yourself. Because you see, finance, each of those domains, your personal finance doesn't speak much about the economy. It speaks much about you. Because in the same economy, where you're saying, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, people are balling and chilling. So the money is not that the money is not, it's just not coming to your own pocket. So the problem is not with the money. The problem is with the person in whose pocket there is no money. So first things first, you need to change the side of the mirror. I'm sure you're thinking, okay, maybe they'll come and tell us what to do on the business. Let me bust that bubble. It's not the business. It's not the ministry. It's not the job. It's who? It's you. There are things you begin to do on yourself, in yourself, to yourself. Things just begin to follow you naturally. Let me end with this story. Barack Obama, true life story, had a car. It was a Chrysler 66 something. I can't remember the model exactly. When he was about to contest for presidency, he sold the car and bought a Ford Explorer that was more rugged for campaign. A guy bought the Ford Explorer and parked it. He didn't use it. He bought it for, I will have checked those things, maybe somewhere around $16,000 or $15,000. When Obama won presidency, he auctioned that same car. For how much? For $1 million. Go and Google this story. Did the car change? What changed? The person associated with the car. The same car that sold for $16,000. Because the person whose title and name is on that car papers changed the value of that car. More than quadrupled up times whatever. He wrote Audacity of Hope since nobody did buy him. He became president. The book became bestseller. They didn't change the content though. They didn't rewrite the book. Same book. You are the one keeping what you are doing small. When you grow, everything you touch grows with you. I wrote a book, they are not buying it. Leave the book, it is you. People don't buy books, they buy authors. So when you go to a bookshelf, or a bookshop, and you need a book on purpose, and you see 7 names, you buy the name you trust the most. You say, they are not buying my book. They don't know the person that wrote the book. They are not checking the wisdom of the book. God told Samuel, it is only me that looks at the heart. Man looks at what? So there's a how for these things. By tomorrow, by God's grace, we'll start looking at the how. God bless you.